This is the Roxanne Show. Get ready. It's time to rise. This was a really, really powerful and very potent question that I put into this. And there was a lot of feedback on Instagram from this question because I actually made a reel out of this post where I state the question. And the question is, how much effort am I worth? Right? That's a very triggering question to some people who are limiting themselves, who make excuses, who don't hold themselves accountable. Straight up, it's very triggering. No one wants to face this truth that one is not applying themselves because one does not feel worthy of the work that it takes to actually be in the arena and move yourself into the process of victory, of achieving the goal, of actualizing the experience that you seek to actualize, right? But it really does come down to that. You have to feel worthy. I say this all the time, right? And in a lot of conversations, solo-sodes, a lot of my work, you have to feel worthy of the battle and the victory because it's a package deal. You cannot just be, someone who's like, I'm so deserving and worthy of this thing that's, the victory, the gain, but not also really take in this idea and this feeling of, but I'm worth the challenge. I'm worth the fight. I'm worth the battle, because there will always be a challenge, a fight, or a battle, be it something, small or something really big, and in between. But you're going to face challenges and battles along the way to actualizing the things that you seek to actualize in your life. So it's a really beautiful and powerful question to go, okay, how much effort am I really worth? And especially when you feel tired, when you feel defeated, when you feel unsure, because this question, facing it very honestly, is going to cultivate, for the most part, I can't speak for everybody, but I know, if you're a high performer, if you are someone who is, even if you're not a high performer, if you don't see yourself as that, right? Forget the label, but you're just someone who really wants to and is believing that, you can create the life that you really want to experience in your life, right? Asking yourself this question at times, especially when it feels really hard, it's like you coaching yourself very powerfully to put you back in the game, to put you in the arena, to just take another step forward. And a lot of times, all you need to do is keep taking that step forward, right? That's what I said, a few minutes ago. It's not about having confidence about your whole process and path, because again, a lot of things are going to switch up along the way to achieving, I know in my own life, I definitely have a clear vision of specific things that I am seeking to experience in my life. Right. And I can say already at this stage, in my processes with some of them, that I've had to zig and zag and try this and okay, that was good, but not so much anymore. Now let me go over here. And like, the goal doesn't change, right? Especially when it's something that you're very, very committed to, that you feel deep resonance with, and really it becomes a vision. It's larger than just some kind of immediate goal. It's the big goals, right? But the process changes, because we're always changing too, right? So we have to always respect our evolution as well. You want to stay flexible in your ability to get to the goal, right? And a lot of times it's really this, let me just move one step at a time. And I'm worth this one step, and I'm worth that next step and that next step. So I really just want you to take a moment to really capture that question. How much effort are you worth? And realize that this is a long game mission, this thing called life, right? Fortunately, I mean, if we are fortunate to live, a very long span of life, you are going to want to be constantly be positioning yourself to be on the path to achieve goals, right? Because goals, they help us to show up every day. They help us to feel very connected to ourself. We have purpose. We have hope. These are essential components to actually living a life of wellness, to really feeling to be, the feeling of being alive, right? People that don't have goals, um, they're kind of just living by default. You don't want to be that. You are absolutely living on purpose, with purpose, and goals help you to live in that state. So, going back to the caption a bit more, um, we fight for what we love and believe in. You got to include yourself and your highest ideals as something worth fighting for and rage against the hard that meets you on your path. It's so important to take that in, right? We do in life. Think about it. Like, we will fight for what we love and we believe in relentlessly, right? So you have to understand that it's not just about the things outside or things also being other people, relationships, but can you fight for yourself, right? And it goes back to what I was just saying about, being worth, the challenges along the way too, but really just kind of taking in this from another angle, like knowing that you love yourself and you are going to show up every day and you are going to fight for yourself. A while back I put on Instagram a quote of mine that like really just caught fire, and it was beautiful because I know, the messaging that I got back from it, that it really impacted those who took it in. But it was the quote that when you stop fighting yourself and you start fighting for yourself, the entire fucking game changes. And it does, because you just show up differently, right? You show up for yourself in every moment that you need to show up for yourself, in all the ways that are important to show up for yourself. And I'm not going to go through that because it's really endless, and every day that will be a different experience for you depending on, where you're channeling yourself and what's important to you. But you will show up and you will fight for yourself. And when this is the norm for us, the entire fucking game does change. We operate with more self-love. We operate with more self-respect. We operate with more integrity. We hold ourselves accountable. And we can do it with compassion. We can do it with grace. It's really you being on your team. And the one variable that you have in your life, that we all have in life, that doesn't change, the one thing that doesn't change until you're out of here, is that you are in you until you're out of here, right? That's the one thing that we know, and that is going to stay consistent. You are in you until you're out of here. So it's a really good idea to get in on your team, right? And adopting a winning mindset is you absolutely being on your team. And let me clarify this to say that you being on your team also means, and especially means, you are always going to be honest with yourself. And that might not feel good all the time, but there's, piece here where I said honesty fuels the path of progress. We make no progress if we're not being honest, period. End of story. So I get it. That's not always going to feel comfortable for lots of different reasons, but if the goal is important to you, if making progress to achieve the goal is important to you, then you're going to be honest with yourself every step of the way, because in that truth holds the information that you need to actually win, right? So being on your team is absolutely loving. It is encouraging. It's supportive, but it's this accountability piece. It's holding yourself accountable and, calling yourself out when you need to, challenging yourself when you absolutely need to, and really just being in that position where, you learn how to support yourself in ways where it's not, it's not always like sweet and fluffy and soft, but you also don't need to be an asshole to yourself in order for you to make progress. It's this beautiful space in between where you can really just tell yourself it's fucking go time, or never again, or okay, we're going to learn from that. Queen, this is your call to greatness. If you are ready, and I mean truly ready, to shift anything in your outer experience, your outer reality, your finances, your health, your relationship, anything career related, anything spiritual. Any shift that you want to make that has to do with your reality has to first start with shifting who you are, your self-identity. My Future Self digital course is your supportive blueprint that helps you achieve this. The inner shapes the outer. So when you get crystal clear on your core beliefs, your core values, your core desires, your high heart goals, when you learn how to rewrite parts of your past that maybe don't feel so great and instead leverage those experiences to be fuel for you to expand and to grow, this is how you start to change the game behind the game of life, which all starts and ends with you. I've designed this course from my heart, soul, and experience to be a femininely fierce experience for you to uncover and connect with your most authentic self. And as a Future Self student, you get 3 months free membership access to Queendom. This is where we really get to connect. Queendom is such a rad, sacred, empowered space where every month you get a live Q&A call with me so we can connect and troubleshoot any area of your life that you would like, or just get some encouragement from me as well as the other queens in the community. This is a really sacred space, and I will see you in Queendom.